I see. Actually, I don't. I think you're insane.
Well, that is a fair point as well. I've been called that too.
Uh, welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome to the show. This is going to be a fun show.
What
I'm
is it
really
called?
looking forward. It is called the Dan Levitard Show with Stugotz on ESPN Radio.
Aw.
No, it's Super Reset Brothers.
Oh, okay, that's better.
That's the name of the show. I'm Tanner Larson, and over there, that's Patrick Breeden. Patrick, what do we got going on the show today?
Well, first I'm gonna dance for a moment.
Okay, that's fair. So while you're dancing, I will go ahead and actually tease the show like a good host. So what we have going on...
I never claimed to be that.
Fair enough. Fair point. Fair point. You got me. And that's why I'm on this sinking ship. So we are going to be talking about our favorite sports titles. But it's not what you think. It is a bit more silly than that. So what we're going to be talking about is games like Mutant League Hockey and Blitz and NBA Jam and all this other good stuff.
Yeah.
So Patrick, you actually came up with this topic.
I did.
So why don't you go ahead and start us off there, buddy?
And in terms of it, the reason why I thought of that is I wanted to do it last week because I know like you're super baseball crazy, and you know the Cubs won the World Series and everybody was freaking out. And
in fact, I've not been able to stop playing out of the park baseball. It's just a fun simulator, but we're not here to discuss super serious stuff.
Yeah.
Sports.
But in terms of that, I thought, wouldn't it be really awesome to have a podcast where we just talk about like ridiculous sports games, not like Madden or any serious crap like that. No, like crazy fun stuff. And that's why I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Because it's any sport you can think of, honestly. It doesn't have to be a team sport. It can be combat sports, too. And, when I was thinking of that, combat sports among team sports and everything else, I thought, we can add into this? It's just awesome. Punch-Out.
Oh, yeah. We can add Punch-Out. Hell yeah, we can. Sport. Boxing's a sport, and it's a dead sport.
Still got some Punch-Out.
Back then, it was alive and well, but now it's dead. But we're talking about it now, so let's talk about boxing.
Yeah, Punch-Out.
Yeah.
Everybody loves Punch-Out, as far as I'm aware. Like, Who doesn't like playing as Little Mac? And even if you suck at the game, you still get to, punch Von Kaiser, and he does the mustache thing, and he's silly, and everybody loves that, right? So, you've got...
kind of.
They should.
Because, the game is hella racist.
Yeah, there is
that. You can't deny that. The game is indeed hella racist. But it's so much fun. Punch-Out is fun.
Oh, it is a fun game. I'm sure, I think... there were 2 Irish characters in Punch-Out. I was like, were there...
There was also a Japanese character named Piston Honda. There was a Russian man named Vodka Draginsky who had to get censored and be called Soda Popinski. Let's see. What else is there? There's a Frenchman named Glass Joe because, LOL, the French army always retreats, even though that's not exactly the case. They've only retreated once, and it was a big one. What else is there? There's Great Tiger, who's an Indian man who likes to teleport. I don't know what.
That's what they all do.
Yeah, apparently.
And then there was one Canadian boxer in Punch-Out. And
Bear Hugger.
They had to go that direction. They're like, well, he's going to be a big burly guy who's fat, has a beard, drinks beer, fights bears, and he's a lumberjack. And it's just like that's what happens when you go to Toronto. It's just lumberjacks everywhere. You can't even cross the street.
I don't know if it's more so Toronto than it is in the Yukon.
Well, that's the stereotype I'm trying to throw out there. You just go to Toronto and that's what happens. You can't even cross the street.
No, it's not Toronto. You go to Toronto for shitty teams and like major market leagues. You go to the Yukon to be a lumberjack. Maybe even British Columbia.
All I want to know is how did the Canadian people, like when they talk, like their heads like come apart? That's South Park captured that perfectly, but I still don't know how they do it.
That's one of life's mysteries that Trey Parker or Matts don't know.
They know and they won't tell us.
Yep.
Get Trump on it. He will figure this out.
Trump can't be stumped, of course.
He can't be. So
never has he ever been. Never.
But
there's no tone of sarcasm in my voice whatsoever.
None at all. Never would we do such a thing. So in terms of the 3 Punch-Out games, the one on the NES, SNES, and then Wii, which one would you say is your favorite?
That's a tough one. As far as, entertainment purposes go, for like unintentional purposes, I guess, the speedrun factor, I would go with the NES, then the SNES, and the Wii. But for like replayability, I would say NES still at the top, then Wii, then SNES. Even though you could also say a GameCube version, because Super Punch-Out was packaged with Fight Night Round 2 as a GameCube exclusive feature.
Okay. I suppose you could say that, but
then again, it's also like splitting hairs at that point, because there's also like a Wii version for that virtual console than the
original release is the way we'll put that.
The original release, I guess. So that still goes from replayability, goes to NES, then Wii, then SNES, because there's a lot of stuff on that Wii version.
Yeah,
there's a lot of good stuff.
There is a whole lot on the Wii version. Plus, I mean, you get to fight Donkey Kong. That's pretty awesome.
That's true. You do get to fight Donkey Kong, which is very, very cool.
You get to punch him in the face.
And that is not cool. Animal cruelty is not cool.
Oh, Harambe. Oh, well. So, the one I would choose, honestly.
I kind of figured that would have gone that direction when I made that joke.
And yet you went with it anyway. Shame on you.
Oh, well. Anyway.
I would say, like, I like what they did with the SNES version, because, like, they really tried to further diversify the different fighters and everything. I would say there weren't too many that really did the same thing. I mean, there were a few, but there was a lot of variety with that one versus the original NES. But, of course, it is a step further in generations, and you would expect that. But I'd say the nostalgia factor and just to sit down and play and have fun, probably the NES version still.
Yeah. Plus, you get to, if you're good enough, you get to get the Midget Sandman, which is a glitch on the NES version, where if you punch Sandman in the stomach, I think it is, and he knocks you out at the same time, then like he just gets compressed to hell.
I've never seen that. I'm gonna have to look it up on YouTube.
It is kind of entertaining. It is kind of entertaining.
And the NES version of Punch-Out also brings back some great memories, because it was last year. Last SGC, Craig did it. TKO and Mike Tyson.
Yep. That is true. He did beat Mike Tyson. But he also wanted to knock him out, which he done did as well.
Yeah, he TKO'd.
He done did it.
He TKO'd. I don't know how.
I thought he knocked him out.
No, he didn't KO. Because everybody came through
chanting
TKO. TKO.
Or no, it wasn't last year. It was 2 years ago. I thought he knocked him out 2 years ago.
The year before, before he did the TKO, he won by decision. And he said, you know what? That's not good enough.
Yeah.
I want to get the knockout. Do you want to do it tonight? And everybody was like, no, it's too late. So he did it. He won it again, and he got the TKO. He didn't get the KO. He got the TKO.
Okay.
And you know what? That's good enough.
Because I could have sworn he knocked him out. I could have sworn he... Well, no, actually, that's not true. Because in order to knock out Mike Tyson, you have to be very, very good at the game.
That's what I was going to say. Isn't that like next to impossible?
It's not next to impossible. I mean, it is possible, but you just have to be really, really good at the game. Because I think to get a one-round knockout on him, I think the world record for that is 1:20.
Yeah, count me out. Count me out.
Which is a very good time, by the way. And I think that's not even a Sinister 1 time. I think that was a Zallard 1 time, but I could be wrong on that. Someone's going to have to double check on that. But we also have other sports besides boxing.
Yeah, which one's yours?
One of my favorites, which doesn't get talked about a lot, is Slugfest. MLB Slugfest, which is the same people who made NFL Blitz and NBA Jam. They just did, Slugfest for the baseball route. And man, is it just one of the obviously it does not apply to the rules of baseball. Like you can just when you get thrown. Hold on, let me explain this correctly.
Okay.
Because you can intentionally get hit however many times you want in a game, and you can charge toward the pitcher's mound, have a fight, and there will be no repercussions for either player.
This sounds amazing.
And if the batter wins the fight, then they gain speed and momentum. And if the pitcher wins the fight, then that batter is out. It's a great way to settle things.
That's the way the world should work.
Intentionally hit, which normally would be a walk in the sport in the original way, but that's boring. I want this. I want an XFL version of baseball where if you get intentionally beamed, you go to the mound for a fight, and if you win as a batter, then you get a little bit more speed. But if the pitcher wins, then you're out.
I think that's the way the world should work with that because,
absolutely.
The pitcher is not supposed to be a strong guy. He's not supposed to be hitting home runs. He's supposed to just throw a ball really fast.
Oh, and you can also play as aliens or play in Atlantis or wherever.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And these ballparks, they're kind of small, so obviously you're going to be able to hit a lot of home runs with people who normally do not hit home runs.
Yeah.
So this game is definitely built for the home run.
Back to the point I was going to make, though, yes. In terms of it, pitcher's not supposed to be the strong dude. If you go throw down with this guy and he kicks your ass, you should be out.
Yeah, should be out.
By default, it's just dude, you lost.
I don't know. I mean, have you seen Bartolo Colon?
No, I do not pay attention.
Dude is like a heavyweight.
But in terms of it, that's usually not the case. Most pitchers aren't built or anything like that. So if you go to throw down and he knocks you out, yeah, you're done. Get out of here.
Guys are not built like a Wade Boggs, or not a Wade Boggs, but guys are not built like a Bartolo Colon or a Roger Clemens. Normal pitchers, I wouldn't even say they're skinny as Carl Edwards Jr., which you can go ahead and Google that name, Carl Edwards Jr., and he looks like a toothpick. Dude is as skinny as me. So gives you kind of some
that kind of gives me the idea of a guy who's got the guns going on, nailing home runs, and he decides to get into a fist fight with you.
Yeah. If I kick his ass, he's out of the game.
He's just gone.
Yes.
No,
oh god.
You can't come
That's
back.
why I love
People
Slugfest. Plus, a normal rule of baseball is that if you throw the baseball, let's say the runner's going to second base, but if you nail the runner instead of the guy you're supposed to throw, who's covering the base, then that batter is out, which is a rule that Slugfest gets correctly. So if you nail a runner with a baseball, they're out. If you just beam them, they're out.
I did not know this. So you just instead of doing the glove bullshit, you're just no, just beam him.
Yeah, you just beam him and he's out. It's the same thing with a batted ball. If the runner runs into a hit ball, then he's out.
I assume no one does this in MLB because they don't want to get punched in the face.
Oh, absolutely. No one wants to be a Jose Bautista. No one wants to be a Jose Bautista where they just get punched in the face in the first month of the season.
I'm just saying, man, if it came down to winning the World Series and it's I couldn't catch him in time with the glove, you're damn right I'm throwing that ball at him.
By the way, Jose Bautista, who plays for the Toronto Blue Jays, looks a lot like Drake.
Maybe
looks like a poor man's Drake.
Maybe he is Drake.
That's all. Have you seen them in the same room? I haven't.
I think it's a possibility. Maybe Drake's tired of being rich and famous from singing, and he's like, I want to play baseball.
I want to play baseball. I want to play for Toronto.
And they're like, Drake, you can't use your actual name. Remember Michael Jordan? This shit is not going to cut it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So he's just going to be Jose Bautista.
That's your new name.
He's going to play for his city, even though he might be a free agent this year.
Perfect.
But
no, I've never played that.
Oh God! If anybody gets a chance to play Slugfest, I think it's like 2003. So you can go ahead and find that game, and you'll have a blast.
But I love all those ridiculous sports games like Blitz, NHL Hits, all that goodness.
Yes,
So yeah, that would be right up my alley. I'd have fun with that.
but there's only one player, as far as I'm aware,
That's
who
fine.
who got their own game. Can you name me that player? I'll give you a hint.
A
He
baseball
was
player?
recent. Yeah, I'll give you a hint. He was recently advertised as the kid in MLB The Show 2017.
I have no idea. I mean, I'm thinking of like there was Nolan Ryan's MVP baseball back in the day.
Oh shit! I didn't even think about that one.
Ken
Fuck.
Griffey Jr.
That's the
also had
one. That's the one. The kid,
Oh.
Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I
Ken
think.
Griffey Jr.'s baseball was so much fun.
Yeah, I
and
think,
the only overpowered player,
mhm.
of course, was Ken Griffey Jr.
No, I think Nolan Ryan's game came out before that, and before either one of those was Bo Jackson's baseball on the NES.
Oh yeah, that's right. Bo Jackson, I forgot.
So I'm pretty sure Bo Jackson's baseball was the first game that had a player's name on it.
Well, Bo knows baseball.
He does.
Bo knows football.
And truth be told, for anybody who hasn't tried it, even if you're not a huge baseball fan, that game is really fun.
Yes.
Like, more fun than it should be. It doesn't deserve to be this fun, man, but it just does it.
Yeah. Ken Griffey Jr. though is like it still adheres to like the rules of baseball, like it teaches you about the game and all this stuff. But if you play as Ken Griffey Jr., all that's just out the window.
Yeah, he's got like.
If you play as the
God-
Seattle Mariners, like all the shit goes out the window because you play as Ken Griffey Jr. and then the Seattle Mariners.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Ken
like when Ken
Griffey-
Griffey Jr. comes up to bat, it's like all bets are off. If he hits one, it's out of the park.
Yeah, he's God tier. It's ridiculous.
He's just so good. So good for his own good.
Awesome. So
Like
let's
so
see.
overrated.
What am I thinking of here? Okay, so and so far we've talked about boxing, traditional team-based sports like baseball.
Let's talk about the greatest American sport.
Let's talk about. Hold on. I'm going to talk about racing, but
Do
a
we
lot of
want to
people-
count racing as a sport?
Yes, because it's a sport. There's NASCAR. People go and see it all the time, but I'm not talking about NASCAR. I'm talking a lot of people watch like motorcycle racing, motocross, things like that. Let's talk about road rash.
Oh yeah. Well, okay.
I'm
Okay,
gonna go
road
with
rash.
It's a
Road
racing.
rash. Road rash is more of illegal activity than it is an actual sport.
Well, it's still racing. The point is, to
Yeah,
win the
you
race.
still win money and you still like earn
Yes.
points and standings, but it is still illegal street racing.
Illegal, unsanctioned racing, which is completely fun because, say, you know, there's a guy that's, you know, gaining on you and he passes you, and you're like, man, I don't want him to do that. That's okay. Pull out a baseball bat and start beating him until he stops it.
beating him to death.
Just like,
And
God damn
I
it,
think
let me
road-
pass you.
In Road Rash 2, I think there are cops, or does Road Rash also have that?
I can't remember if cops
'Cause
were
as
staple
far as-
from the beginning.
As far as I'm aware, Road Rash 2 has cops that can actually pull you over and take you out of the race.
Oh yeah, they also have nightsticks that they can hit you with too.
Yes.
And like when they're holding the nightstick, if you punch them really quick, you'll take it from them. So that was always fun. So
Oh,
Road
fuck
Rash
the
has been
police.
like chaotic fun for anybody who likes racing. Always
and
a good
who
time
hates
with that.
police.
And
who
if
hates
you
police.
yeah, if you hate police.
Yeah,
Also,
that's your game.
Also in that area, if you like that kind of gameplay style, there is a game on Sega Genesis called Skitchin. And what
I
you
haven't
do,
heard of this.
yeah, what you do with that is it's a racing game where everybody's on roller skates. But the point of the game and how you compete in the race is you grab onto the bumper of other people's cars. And just do that.
Oh.
And of course, like you've got other racers that want to be on the same car and they'll come over and try to punch you or whatever. You just hang on, knock everybody else out of the way, and just skitch. It's a very fun, ridiculous game. So if you like racing, but you want a little bit of pizzazz to it, I think you're really going to like Road Rash. And I think Skitchin probably isn't as good as Road Rash, but I still think it's fun. I still
See,
think
I
you enjoy
thought
it.
I thought you were going to mention like roller derby or something like that. It's like, who's
Oh,
going to want
no.
to play a roller derby game?
No, Skitchin is insane. Because, like, there's a truck you can grab onto, and then, like, say somebody's coming up with a sports car, and you're like, nope, gonna throw myself over and grab the more horsepower sports car. And then people like come up there. They've got like broken bottles trying to stab you and knock you off the car and stuff. It's nuts.
Mm-hmm. Man, oh man. That is something else. But let's talk about the greatest American sport now.
Okay.
That is football. There are so many rip-off football games. Like, obviously the ones that, like, the one that comes to mind is Blitz because it's so over the top and wacky and made by Midway.
The one
but
where
there's also
I beat you. You should say.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of Super Risa Brothers. I'm Dan Overs. No. Yeah, I lost, but I'll get my revenge again.
Oh,
I'll get my revenge. Obviously everyone knows Blitz, and Blitz is just so wacky and fun. But there was also Mutant League Football.
Yeah.
Where you could literally kill your opponent.
Yes.
Like you could just dismantle them.
Not to mention, like, different hazards would show up on the field. Like,
yes.
You know, I don't think there are black holes. Just like you were playing on, like, it seemed like an asteroid in the middle of space. Just crazy enough. And, like, you would have sinkholes that would appear on the field while playing. And if, like, one of your guys fell in the sinkhole, off to space he goes. He's fucked. So, so this game was just completely off the rails with the crazy shit that went on. But it made football that much more fun. Because when you're playing
and then there's also the Mutant League Hockey.
Oh, let's get to that in a second, but we're going to gush about this first.
Because,
holy damn. Like, with that, you know, it was the Genesis SNES era, so you didn't have the internet to tell you what was going on. And the thing that people, or at least I can say I love so much about it, is you see some of this craziness pop off, and you're like, wait, what? You could do that? What else can you do? So you start experimenting to see what other crazy shit you can do in the game.
Oh my goodness. It was so much fun. Like I kind of wish that they had a Kickstarter I think a few years ago, and it didn't get enough money, which broke my heart. And it also broke Bracky Wacky's heart, which, you know, before we went live, Christian M123 says that he wanted a HD Mutant League football or hockey, which Bracky immediately replied, "We almost had one and they canceled it because not enough people didn't pitch in." That or else I don't know if they got the word around too much.
Yeah. I think I would have given up a kidney to get, like, Mutant League hockey again.
It was on Kickstarter, but nobody apparently wanted it.
Well, I don't know if everybody didn't want it. It's just like, it's been a long time. So people who don't remember those games, I'm not so sure, like, that they're going to be as excited when you say, hey, we have a Kickstarter. And they'd be like, okay, I don't care about sports games. But that's when they should say, hey, this isn't just any other sports game. Check out the legacy we have. Really try to sell
I'm sure they noted the legacy, but it's just nobody almost like... I don't want to say nobody pitched in because it almost reached its goal.
Yeah, people clearly did, but
it didn't get there quite enough for it to get there.
That's a shame. I mean, it's possible that they could try it again in the future. Maybe it would do better.
Well, how much in the future? Like 2 years from now? Because I think that was like 3 years ago. They tried in 2013.
Why not? Mutant League Hockey in VR?
That's a good point.
That'd be kind of cool.
It also could be very bad.
Yes.
Because some transitions to 3D are not as good as others, as was mentioned by Game Informer. Like, actually, that's an interesting story. Like, Sonic 06 is infamous for being, you know, terrible and all this, but they actually got an interview with, like, the developers of that and, like, dove into, like, how awful Sega was with managing the Sonic brand. But that's neither here nor there. That's probably another discussion for another time. We're here to talk about sports games.
Sports games. So let's talk about Mutant League hockey since you brought that up.
Yeah.
Because that was, like, you could kill other people in Mutant League football, and you knew that. Which was awesome. But Mutant League hockey, to my knowledge, actually amped it up even more and brought in, like, fans would throw out chainsaws and
Yeah!
like axes and stuff that you could pick up and just start tearing into your opponents.
Yeah.
And like the biggest, coolest thing that I recall about that is like you could win a game and you didn't have to score any points. Just kill so many people on the opposite team that they can't continue. They run out of people on the team, and you win because of that. That is the most ridiculous thing ever, yet it's so fun.
That to me is just...
It's just like, could you imagine?
It's over the top. The final score 0-0 because the other team died and the other team didn't die, so you win.
Could you imagine that in the NHL? Like, people just go out there and like, we're just going to go and we're going to have the bench just filled with people. There's going to be 8 million guys in the sim bin tonight because we're going to break legs and ribs and everything else. And it'd just be like, well, you don't have enough people to make a 5-man team. You forfeit. What?
You forfeit. What? We win, you forfeit because you don't have enough players. I'm surprised that isn't the strategy. I'm honestly surprised that is not a strategy for the Vancouver Canucks, who are having a terrible season.
Well, if you think of Wayne Simmons on the Flyers, that might be his strategy.
That might be the strategy, yes, for Wayne Simmons, is just to try and make the other team forfeit because they don't have enough players to dress.
That guy is always trying to kill somebody.
Golly.
But
also, there's Chris Thorburn, who has like 3 straight fights before like scoring his first goal of the season.
Well, you got to punch a few faces, score a few goals, and you punch some more faces.
That's the life of an enforcer, plus the life of a goon.
That's just the way it goes. But yeah,
but
man.
I think
Mutant League Hockey, you could just waste the other team, and that's how you win. And they also, they brought back some cool elements from before, like the sinkholes, just like in Mutant League Football. But this time, like, your character falls through the hole in the ice, and then like they're dead, but you can see their body floating underneath the ice while you're skating around.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
Good.
It's the kind of fucked up thing that we had in the 90s where like kids probably shouldn't be playing this shit, but we were, and we were loving it.
Oh, man, that was just so much fun. So much fun back in the day. It's just woof. Mutant League Hockey got it right. Mutant League Hockey got it really right, and so did Mutant League Football.
They did so much goofy stuff in Mutant League Hockey because they took all the craziness from football, and they're like, well, let's amp it up. Including, mind you, killing the referee.
Yeah, no rules enforced.
It's like, you don't like the calls he's making? Just kill him. Beat him to death. And then later on, another referee comes along, and he's like, oh, I'm not going to put up with this stuff, guys. And it's like, well, why don't we just kill him too? But the game wouldn't let you at that point. It's like, you killed the one, that's all you get.
That's all you get.
It's ridiculous. But the whole game's ridiculous, so...
That's true.
I digress.
It's very true. So, let's talk about basketball now, which I think is the originator of the silly games.
Yes.
It's NBA Jam.
NBA Jam. Loved it.
You got Big Heads, you got Raiden, you got Scorpion and Reptile and Sub-Zero. And like you could play it as Bill Clinton, who was the president at the time.
You absolutely could. You could do that.
Plus, it was so good.
Plus in the tournament edition, they amped up the silly even more.
Yes.
By like having like there were certain like sweet spots where you could get like multiple points. Plus, like, you could get a bomb that would just, like, knock everybody else down while you scored points.
Oh, that was so good.
There was so many goofy ways to just have an amazing time with that game.
Now, which version do you prefer? Do you prefer the older version? Or do you prefer, like, the remastered version with, like, NBA Jam back in 2013 or 2011 or whatever it was?
I'm going to confess that I haven't played the remastered one. I know. I really want to.
So good. It was so good. Like, you had updated rosters, of course, because, like, with the Minnesota Timberwolves, like, I think Kevin Garnett was, like, barely a rookie at that point in, like, the original version of NBA Jam. Mm-hmm. And now you have, like, Kevin Love and Johnny Flynn, who's not even in the league anymore. Who else was on there? Michael Beasley, like big name Minnesota Timberwolves with only Kevin Love available. And I think they had Ricky Rubio too, so I can't say too much. Like the usual pairing for that was Kevin Love, Ricky Rubio. But of course you have like big stars, actual big stars like LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Derrick Rose, and holy hell.
That's one thing that always kind of sucked with the old NBA Jam games, because
no Michael Jordan.
He wouldn't sell his likeness. He wouldn't do it.
That was the one thing that really killed NBA Jam was Michael Jordan had his own separate likeness.
Yeah.
And he still does have his own separate likeness because NBA 2K, the 2K games made a big deal of like, oh, we got Michael Jordan, which, you know, was like, shouldn't he be in the Players Association anyway?
I don't know how he managed it.
He's Michael Jordan.
Well, yeah, I know he's Michael Jordan.
He's like the best. He's the best.
He's the best Michael.
He's the best Michael, of course.
He's the best
Michael Jackson, better Michael J. Fox. Michael Jordan takes the cake. But no, he was the best basketball player ever.
Oh, I agree.
Ever. Like better than Magic, better than Bird, better than Wilt, better than Russell. Like, wow. He was amazing. Like nobody can touch Jordan now. Nobody can touch him. Not even LeBron James today, who is probably the most equivalent to Michael Jordan in this day and age. Because here's an interesting fact. LeBron James has more MVP trophies than Michael Jordan.
Yeah, doesn't faze me.
That of course it doesn't. Because what does Michael have that LeBron James doesn't?
You'd have to tell me, sportsman.
Six NBA trophies.
Oh, 6 trophies? Okay.
And you know what that record is in the finals?
I think LeBron has 2.
LeBron has 3.
3.
Okay. He won 2 in Miami and he won 1 in. But LeBron has been to the finals 7 times. Guess how many Michael has been to?
Oh, I think his is double digits, right?
No. Oh. He is a perfect 6 for 6.
Oh, really?
And none of those finals went to a game 7.
Wow.
So that is a undisputed great of all time.
That is, yeah, that's a pretty amazing
record.
If
you go a 6 for 6 and not let any of those finals, with how great the Utah Jazz were and how great the Cleveland Cavaliers were, even in the 90s, like, my goodness, man. You had Reggie Miller in the Pacers. You had Patrick Ewing in the Knicks. Like, all these NBA teams, which were on NBA Jam, by the way, except for Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Like, the best player the Bulls had outside of Michael Jordan was Scottie Pippen. And he was barely as good as Michael.
Yeah, it suffered without Michael. But it was
of
still
course,
a fun game.
You have these great rosters, and it's also like the over-the-top dunks and all this stuff. Like, you could even break the backboard.
Yes, I love
that
part.
Which is great.
I absolutely love that. And along with it, with the new NBA Jam, since I haven't been able to play it, keep in mind Austin Hargrave, Peanut Butter Gamer, actually contributed to that game. Actually put a new catchphrase in there. I can't remember what it is. Oh, there we go. That's
the one I remember.
Yeah, but, so anytime
I see PBG, all I want to talk with him is the Dallas Mavericks. Like, I don't even want to talk about his videos or his content or anything he's done. All I want to talk about is Dallas Mavericks in the NBA.
I think he'd be okay with that.
Oh, absolutely. And so would Craig. Because anytime I see Craig, I always try to strike up a conversation about the NBA because I know he's a big Dallas Mavericks fan as well. Which the Dallas Mavericks, by the way, are not that great. Not that great. In fact, funny story, Mark Cuban has tried to pull ESPN coverage. That's right. An owner can pull media credentials.
How? I mean, he just bars them?
Yeah, he just bars ESPN from covering his games because they're not covering it well enough.
Don't they, like, cap contracts or something?
Well, the league controls really who has the media credentials. The league controls that.
Oh, I know.
Besides, why would you want to cover a team that only has like 3 wins in the season thus far when we're like 15 games in?
Oh, I know all that. I'm in the TV industry. I mean, I know that the NBA controls who takes a piss on a Thursday. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for good ratings, though.
Well,
I mean, why wouldn't you want to watch the Warriors? But that's neither here nor there. I'm trying not to go off on a tangent. But man, oh man. But still, the NBA Jam series is so good. And it's so over the top and so stupid. And it's mostly because of Tim Kitzrow, the announcer.
Oh, yeah.
For both NBA Jam and Blitz. And there was also a revamp of Blitz, which we didn't cover, which has also an updated roster, but also has like fake teams that you can unlock, as well as, Raiden and all this other stuff. I don't think you can actually unlock the Raiden stuff. Because that was EA Sports who did that, not Midway.
And like Blitz just it took a turn for like the dark ages for that series after they lost the NFL license, because then it became Blitz the League.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
But you still had names like Lawrence Taylor and
Lawrence Taylor and
Bill Romanowski. Man.
Yeah. The whole damn thing was just weird. I really did not like Blitz the League. I mean, it was crazy to the point where like
you could break someone's balls, literally.
Yeah, it had like quick moments where it showed like X-ray breaks and stuff like that, kind of like the X-rays in Mortal Kombat. So if you haven't seen Blitz the League, right there is your reason to do so. Yeah. But overall, is it a good game? No.
What's better though is, like, EA Sports gets...
Hello to Cattlewolf.
Hello. EA Sports gets its, fair share of flack because, like, they own a monopoly on, like, licenses and all this stuff. But I will say this. Back in the early 2000s, into mid-2000s, they had this thing called EA Sports Big. And they had games like SSX Tricky and NFL Street and NBA Street. And it was so much fun.
I haven't tried any of those, but now
you will love NFL Street because it is just basically like 3-on-3 football.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's more like 4-on-4 because you got a lineman, you got a quarterback, you have a wide receiver, and you have a running back.
I could definitely check that out, but like when you were talking about SSX Tricky and all those different things, it immediately made me think of like, okay, let's go ahead and end it here because we've been going for a good bit, and I did this so Tanner could have his sportsgasm. So this was my gift to you, Tanner, and that's exactly what happened.
Oh, was it 6-on-6? Okay, well, still, it's like very undersized football.
So I knew you were going to have your sportsgasm, and that's exactly what we had here. So Tanner's happy. He's happy this week. And in terms of that, let me go ahead and just throw this out really quick. We're going to have a few weeks break, of course, with Thanksgiving and everything coming up within the next few weeks. So that's why I decided let's let Tanner have his sportsgasm this week. But in terms of like crazy wild sports games, the shittiest I can think of is that fucking BMX XX game.
Oh my god. Do we have to talk about BMX XXX?
Just to take a crap on it.
Oh my god. Okay.
I've never played it. It's garbage, and that's pretty much all I'm going to say about it.
Well, okay, let's say this. Like the Tony Hawk series, obviously the best of the extreme sports. Like you could say 1080, that series is good.
Love 1080.
1080 snowboarding?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you said
awesome.
What is it? I thought you said what is it?
No, I said I love it.
Okay, fair enough.
Man, I played a lot of that on N64.
But there's no disputing like Tony Hawk owned that portion of like games. And they had that good line of, not too over the top, but over the top enough to like be, great games. There's also there's a lot of Mario games on, sports and all that, because you have Super Mario Strikers, as Scott Wolf mentioned in the chat. You have Mario Tennis, Mario Golf. Like, there's so many to list,
there's
which I think that could be its own podcast episode.
Yeah, a matter of fact, I think we should do that as soon as we come back, because I have a lot to say about Mario Strikers Charge, but I'm like,
Yes.
we've already gone a good way with this one, and I don't want to spoil it.
But we will end it with BMX XXX being the worst game, one of the worst games of all time.
Yeah, it's
Not just a bad sports title or a bad alternative sports title. It's just a bad game.
Yeah, it takes like the most
It
juvenile.
takes a special kind of developer to make that awful of a game.
It's juvenile to the point where it's just like it's porn. Okay,
Yeah.
Is the game any good? No, but there's porn. Who fucking cares?
Great job. What's worse though? What's worse? Outlaw Golf or Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball or BMX XXX? Because I think we should also when we come back, we will talk about the Mario series, but then we'll also have to talk about the worst of the sports games. Like how they try to go over the top and silly, and they do that, but they also fall on playability.
Yeah, I love that you handed me like three plates of cancer and said, "Which one do you want?"
Because the only good thing that Dead or Alive Extreme Beach Volleyball has, other than LOL boobs, is a moment on Maximilian's stream where they're trying to go to the casino and they're trying to bet continuously on roulette, and they've pretty much given up at this point. And I think it was Kenny who bet on 21 a large amount of money, and he lands on 21. He's like, 21, I won. Suck my dick. He just goes off because he won $750,000 in the game.
Wow.
When they lost $800,000.
Yeah.
It's so great. So we should save that discussion for another time.
Yeah, let's save that discussion.
BMX XXX is awful, but
yeah.
I think we have some competitors in that realm.
Yeah, we'll save that for another time too, because honestly, like I said, you handed me 3 plates of cancer, and I don't know which one I want.
So you're going to have to think about it for the next 2 weeks. So obviously, go ahead and enjoy Thanksgiving Day if you celebrate that in America.
That's for you, Tanner. I am totally flipping you off.
I can't even see it, but that's fine. But we'll go ahead and close out this episode of good sports games, and not just ones like Madden. I think that should be the title: good sports games and not ones like Madden.
And not ones like Madden. So did you get your sportsgasm on? Do you feel better?
I feel a little bit better, yes.
Good. Okay.
I feel pretty good. I feel spent.
So everybody at home watching, just give him a golf clap. This was for Tanner. And it made him feel better, and now we're going to take a vacation.
All right. We're going to take a 2-week vacation. We'll be back in the next 2 weeks. Until then, I'm Tanner Larson.
And I am Patrick Breeden.
And when we get back, we might have different names. So you take care for now.
Later. And actually, we're not going to really have too much of an after show because I got food and I'm hungry.
Ooh.
Ah! What?
He's denying you of entertainment.
Like the Peter Molyneux song?
See, that's another thing that we haven't discussed. And you should honestly commission that if you have enough money.
Commission somebody to
make a song
Peter
about
Molyneux
Peter
song?
Molyneux. Yes. And then we will play it on the air and it'll be great.
I'll sing along to it. It'll be the
Are
greatest thing.
Are you going to write the lyrics for this thing?
I probably should. To let Peter Molyneux know he's my hero.
You got 2 weeks.
He's my hero, okay? Thanks to Peter Molyneux, I now understand.
He can be your hero, baby.
Yeah, now that Peter Molyneux is coming into my life, I can understand.
He can make the games go away.
I can understand that all I have to do in life is just promise everything and deliver on nothing. And that's just the way it works.
That's Just the way it is.
That's just the way it is. Okay.
See, there you go. Thank you for catching on that.
Damn it.
I'm good at this.
So
I'm really good at this.
So here's how I'm going to operate life from now on. Now that I'm following the Peter Molyneux method of living, I promise in the next show I am going to be the absolute best I have ever been on here. I am going to just steal the show. Everybody is going to be so amazed that they are going to subscribe to this 12,000 times. Now, you're asking yourself, how could you do 12,000? I'm telling you it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Okay.
It's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on rails.
Mm-hmm.
It's not on rails.
Yeah.
And when you get all these subscribers, they're all going to give you your own special item. And it's going to have its own name. And you could trade it online with other people. It's going to be amazing. So just make sure that you're there for that.
Okay. Oh, well, are you done?
It's not on rails.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Peter Molyneux could be the best sleep aid.
Have you
He
listened
really
to him?
could.
Have you listened to him before?
Yes.
Yeah, it can happen. It can.
Because, I mean, back in the day, like 10 years ago, he could have been like the most exciting person. It's like, oh man, I believe everything in what he's going to say. But now it's just like, well, okay.
So the way I would go ahead and end everything here, because again, I'm following the Peter Molyneux way of life. I have a 10 here. Do you know what's inside the 10?
Nothing.
You know what's inside? You'll have to wait until next episode to find out what's inside the 10.
Oh my God.
What's inside
Get
the 10?
out of here.
What's inside the 10? What's inside of it?
Nothing.
What's inside of the 10?
Nothing.
You'll have to find out in 2 weeks.
Spoiler, it's nothing.
Well, it's not on rails, I'll tell you that. Okay, I'm done. We gotta get out of here. We're out of here. Bye.